Welcome to our video lesson on the percent of a number. So in this video, we're going to solve problems like this. If we have, what's 300% of 2,000? Or what's 1/4 of a percent of 150? Let's get started. When you want to find the percent of a number, you're trying to think of what number. So here, I'm trying to find 0.6% of 365. So I'm trying to figure out what number out of 365, this number up here, what number would be equal to 0.6%? Well, to do this, I'm going to do it a long way with some explanation, and then I'll show you how to do it quickly. We have 0.6%, which we know is equal to 0.6 out of 100, because that's what a percent is. Now, it's like a proportion in our last unit when we focused on proportions. The question is, what value of x up here would make these equal or equivalent or proportional? So as we've done in our previous unit, you can figure out, okay, what do I need to do to 100 to make it to 365? To do that, I divide 365 by 100, and I realize that if I multiply 100 by 3.65, I'll get 365, so I'll do the same thing to my numerator, times 3.65, and 0.6 times 3.65 is equal to 2.19, so that means that x is equal to 2.19%, or sorry, 2.19. So that means that 2.19 out of 365 should be equal to 0.6%. Now I'm going to check that this answer is right. To check that it's right, we need to find out what percentage of 365 2.19 is. So to do that, I'm going to divide 2.19 by 365, and it gives me 0.006. And if I convert that to a percent, I need to move the decimal over twice, and that gives me 0.6%. So I know I got my answer right. That was a longer way to do it. If I want to do it in a simpler way, I'm going to do the same problem just over here using method 2. Put method 1 here. To do this, I'm going to first write my percentage as a decimal, so that would be 0.6. Then I'm going to multiply it by my number that it's out of, so times 365, and I'm going to divide by 100. So I take 0.6 times 365 divided by 100, and that is equal to 2.19. Good morning. Thank you, you too. All right, so 2.19, I got it using both methods. I'm going to do number 2 now, and I can do it both ways so you can see both methods, but honestly, method 2 is quite a bit easier as long as you understand that the reason method 2 works is because of the proportions that we've done in our previous unit, sorry. So for number 2, it's 15.25% of 950. So with method 1, I'm going to set up our proportion again. And I'm going to think of it kind of like a test. This is not our best test. It's the test where I got 15.25% of 950. So what number did I get? How many points did I get out of 950? I'm going to write this 15.25 out of 100, so I can represent it as a percent. Now I know that 1/4 is 15.25. When I think of a quarter, I think of 25 cents, like a quarter, the coin. And so that would be 0.25. So I'll write it as 15.25 out of 100. Now, again, I need to figure out how do I get from 100 to 950. Well, if I multiply 100 by 9.5, it becomes 950. And so whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, times 9.5. Trying to write 9.50 times 9.5. And 15.25 times 9.5 is x is equal to 144.875. Now to check this, I'm going to put it out of 950 to see what I get. So I divide 144.875 by 950. That is equal to 0.1525. And if I'm to write that as a percentage, I need to multiply it by 100 or move my decimal over twice, and that's equal to 15.25%, which is what I started with, 15.25. So I know that my answer is correct. I'll show you that was my check. Now let's do the same thing using method 2. Again, you're allowed to use whichever method you prefer. It is completely up to you. So method 2, I'm going to take, again, 15.25. I will multiply it by 950 and then divide by 100. Some of you know this is cross multiplication, which is fine with me. So 15.25 times 950 divided by 100 equals, and I get 144.875, which is the same answer I got the first time, which I know is correct. Alrighty, let's do one more. And I'll do it in both method 1 and 2 again, so that you can choose whichever one you prefer. Okay, method 1, and so we have 175% of $125.50. So 175% can be written as a fraction out of 100, and we need to figure out what that is, what x is out of 125.50. Now I know that whatever my x is has to be greater than 125 because my percent is greater than 100. So I need to figure out how do I go from 100 to 125.50. Well, if I multiply 100 by 1.255, I'll get 125.50. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 1.255. So I have 175 times 1.255, and I get that x is equal to 219.625. And I want to check to see if this is correct. It is greater than 125.50, which is good. So I'm going to check if it's right. So 219.625 out of 125.50. If I divide them, what do I get? 1.75. So that's 175%. So I know my answer is correct. Now, we're working with money here. And my answer has 3 decimals, but I know that money should only have 2 decimal places. So I'm going to need to round my answer and get rid of this 5. Now the 5 is greater than or equal to 4. No, greater than or equal to 5. So I'm going to round up. So this is going to be equal to $219.63. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing using method 2, where I take 175 and I multiply it by 125.50 and then divide by 100. So I take 175 times 125.50 divided by 100. And that gives me 219.625 again, which, as I just said, I'll round to 219.63. And I know that I have the correct answer. So if you like method 2, you're welcome to do method 2. Those are all the examples I'm going to do for now. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'm here to help you. That's all for now. I'll talk to you later.